Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 15th episode of the Holotheatre show. As always, I'm Dan Tartaglione, also known as DTartagOne. Joining me tonight is Justin Miyashiro, jagteq on, I believe you're jagteq on GEMP and you're Hazardville on the forums. So,
That's accurate. If I could change it on GEMP, I would, but I can't.
well, I
So
mean, that's fair. And joining us tonight is a first time attendee of the Holotheatre, the one and only Mr. Tom Kelly. How you doing, Tom?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's your first time on, so congratulations on being on here. Uh, for those who don't know, Tom is, I want to say you're the most decorated NPC player uh, in the event this year. Is this correct? You've won the.
In Yeah, I've won two,
Mhm.
and I know there's a couple other people that have won two.
I
I
know.
think Steve Baroni's won two. I
Mhm.
think Reed Smith has won two.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's
So
Stephen Reed, and both of them are sitting. Well, I mean everybody's sitting at home this year, but both of them are
yeah,
not attending this edition of the NPC. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about the NPC a lot because hey, the NPC starts in 2 days. That's it.
yeah,
So
Good
well,
evening, folks.
decks are due in like 30 hours, something like that.
yeah, how are you guys? I know you both of you are playing in the event. So how are you guys feeling for about the NPC this year? Let's start with
the
our.
first
Um,
Let's
one.
start with.
yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
I am ready to just play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of like at this point, I'm just like I don't know that I'm gonna get anything more out of grinding more games and mostly I think that's just going to be unlearning stuff. I know there was a discussion a little bit in the Slack chat today about it, and I was like, and what I said was like, I am my playtesting has mostly prepared me to get destroyed with whatever deck I play because it's just it's like everything has a matchup where you're like, oh, this again. Okay, well, we're done here, and um, so it's been interesting to sort out what things are going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I will say I'm ready. I'm excited to play this tournament, and then I'm ready to play some Swiss tournaments after this and not play match play for a while, hopefully, or at least not without having made a top eight. Like
Okay.
if I make a
Okay.
top eight, then I'm like, all right, fine, I'll play match play. But like,
And
like
that's fair.
I want to
So
prepare for a field and not a person. So anyway,
yeah, I can see that. So how are you feeling about it, Tom? Like you said, you've won this event twice. I did you play in the NPC last year?
Last year, no, I missed it because I think I signed up for the in-person NPC, but then that was canceled because
Mm-hmm.
of COVID, obviously. And by the time the online one got all sorted out, I didn't realize in time to sign up, so I missed that one.
That's fair.
Which was, I guess, the first NPC I've missed in maybe 10 years or so, because I think I've gone to all the other ones.
Yeah, I want to say you were part of that crew who has never missed an NPC. I
Is that
know
true?
Goglin's on there. I want to say Greg's on there. Scott's on there. Reed was part of it until
Yeah.
this year. So
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
yeah, Reed
I'm
played
assuming
last
Bill
year.
has never missed an NPC.
I think Bill did because he was stationed in Hawaii for a few years, but I don't know if
Oh,
he
that's
flew
true. You
out
know
for that
what? I
one.
probably missed one or two while I was in California, actually. So maybe I don't have it in Broken Streak. I'm not sure.
That's fair. So,
But either way, I really do enjoy the NPC as a
mhm.
format. I think it's what I like about it is the what you have to prepare for differs so much based on what your seed is and
Yeah.
who you're thinking of and how you have to approach that matchup. Like I want to say I've been as low as four. I don't think I've been lower than four, and I've been as high as one. And
Hmm.
it's like it's very different depending on what your seed is, who you're preparing for. Like, can you afford to ignore your second round match? Do you prepare for your round of 16.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of I think that's if you're in a position where you can do that, that's the ideal place to be. But it's a lot easier to do that the higher their seed is, of course.
True.
And so like but then it's still kind of uncertain. Like 2 years ago, I think I was a 1 seed and I had a possibility of playing either Eric Hunter or Charlie Arlinson
Mm-hmm.
in the round of 16. And it's like, well, how do you prepare for that? Because it could be either of them. And I think it ended up being Charlie that I played.
Let
But
me.
then you think at the same time, okay, but how do they prepare for you? Because they're both going to be so worried about, like
Mm-hmm.
if you're Eric or you're Charlie, you can't afford to ignore either of them. So
No.
it's
And
really fun kind of meta mind game. So sometimes it just ends up that you can just say, okay, well, if they can't prepare for me, then that means that I have the latitude to play whatever decks that I'm most comfortable with. And so that's the good position to be in.
mm-hmm.
Especially like I tend to want to do my own thing more than preparing for anyone else. And so when I can be in that spot, then I'm happy.
And that makes sense because I know a couple of years ago, I want to say it was the last live event. You got to the finals. You played your decks. You played them how you wanted to, and then you just ran into some bad luck in the finals against Chris Kelly in the
Oh
OA
yeah. Well,
versus
that
match
wasn't
map.
even that wasn't even bad luck. I was completely outmatched with his dark deck was the map with Imperial supplies,
Mm,
and just he had like some first turn where he like activated 20 force and used it all and like just flooded the board and blew me out, and I was like, oh, there we go. That was that. I'm trying to remember what I swapped to.
I want to say you
I
played
think that
OA.
yeah, it was either OA. I think I played EBO day one,
Mm-hmm.
and I had tested EBO versus that map, and I knew that I could never beat it. And so I said, okay, well, I'm gonna swap to OA and let's see if maybe I can beat map or this map with that deck. And it turned out that answer was also no. So I was just it was good actually. That was one of the losses I feel best about because I'm like, okay, well, there wasn't really anything I could do, Like it's the
Yeah.
close ones where you second guess yourself and you feel bad about like I mean, I still think about when I lost in 2018 in the World Championship. I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, there's so many things that I maybe could have done differently to claw them back because it was as close as it could get. I lost by one differential in total. But with that one, it's just like, oh, it's nothing I can do.
Yeah, and for the both, I mean, and for the other part is, I mean, Chris and you kind of work together. Is this correct? I know he builds a lot of your decks for
Yeah,
you. So
yeah, yeah.
even so, like somebody like going up against like a teammate or a friend there in that final match and having them win, it's kind of like a win for you in the same way because you're his partner. You help him along. So I mean, in that
Yeah, it's
case,
happened. Steve Salucci and I were working together as
mm-hmm.
well when we met in the. Actually, maybe we started working together after that. But either way, Steve Salucci, like another good finals opponent that I
Yeah,
had that just worked out to be a very good friendship and partnership. So it's nice when you face people that you have worked with in the finals and like okay, we're on to something here, and you don't feel bad about winning it, you don't feel bad about losing it either.
mm-hmm. So really quick, let's talk about. You were talking about the seedings and everything. So this year, you are ranked as a number 2 seed. You are actually the highest number 2 seed, and you're also in the Brian Fred bracket. So is there a match that you're looking forward to playing? It looks like your route would go. You have a first round bye, then you would
Yep.
either play James Martin or Kendall Holman, and then you have either Wayne Cullen, Casey Johnson, or Chris Goglin. Is there to get to the top 8? Now, is there like a match that you want to see? Is there a match you don't want to see?
And not to give anyone bulletin board material or anything, but I'm expecting to be seeing Chris Gogolin. And
Okay.
I've played a lot of really good matches with Chris Gogolin. Chris Gogolin's someone I enjoy playing against. and really good competitor. So that's who I'm thinking about. Like I'm in the position now where I think that I can say this is who I will prepare for in terms of building around.
Okay.
And yeah, well, I mean, it's possible I won't be in that match. It's possible that Chris won't be in that match. But if we both make it there, that's that's what I would say the Saturday would be geared around facing.
And I can see that. Chris did. He has top dated a few events. I know he came into the. I know he lost to. I want to say Chris Kelly in that NPC that we were talking about just then. Uh,
Okay.
so Chris is a really good player. I mean, and I know like Justin, you're a number 7 seed. You're actually in the opposite boat where you're going to be facing Garrett Larson in the first round, and then your second round opponent, if you get past Garrett, is Greg Shaw. How do you feel about that?
I actually am just happy to get bumped up a seed because the both of the NPCs that I played a number 1 seed in round 2, which I guess is actually a good thing because I did upset the 8 seed in 2019 in my first live tournament. But yeah, having to play Joe Olsen in 2019 and then having to play Justin Desai last year,
Oof.
I'm
Yeah.
glad to not have to face a number 1. So that's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to get upset. I guess that's kind of the main thing. I'm just like trying not to get upset is my goal, and then we'll see. We'll see if I can flip the tables and make something happen. I mean, last year I lost the match to Desai on lost pile tie breaks by 4.
Yeah.
So that was about as close as I had imagined it could possibly be. So I mean, like, it was disappointing, but kind of happy with that ultimate result to make it that close. So hopefully we can do better.
Yeah. I mean, I think you both. Have a good shot at least winning your first round match. But so, Tom, have you played a lot recently? I know you have been on Gemp here and there, but I really haven't seen you play a lot in like a lot of the events and stuff. I know you missed the Gemp PC. I know you played in Worlds, and I want to say you made day 2 of Worlds, but I haven't seen you a lot on Gemp
I
lately.
Yeah, I just barely made day 2 of Worlds, and I want to say I started out like 4-0 and then lost 3 in a row or something, and then I lost my next game, and I was like, so that was disappointing. But no, I have not been playing much recently, so this hopefully my unfamiliarity with the meta won't bite me, but it's possible that it will. So
It is a new
it
meta, effectively. So
it doesn't. Yeah, I remember thinking at Worlds because I did prepare for Worlds, like not as much as say the Worlds the year before, but I played a decent amount in like the 3 or so weeks before Worlds, and I was pretty happy with the meta then. And it seems mostly similar now. There have been some erratas that I noticed, but not anything game breaking. Not huge changes, I don't think.
Yeah, I know a lot of people liked the map deck when it was first came out with the newest set. Outside of that, I mean, Lightside doesn't have like it has a lot of solid options, but it doesn't have like one clear cut play this deck and win. Whereas in Worlds there was Hitco, so I do think the meta is a little bit more wide open. But we can talk about that in a little bit. So, what do you? So, how are you preparing for this? Is it just like are you just looking at cards? Are you thinking about what you played over the years to win, Tom, or is this like are you going in blind?
Well, I've been with my team been talking about what the good decks are, and I've played some private games
Okay.
and just kind of prepared to see, okay, well, if these decks are good, let's play games with them and against them and see how good they actually are and see something that I might be comfortable bringing.
Okay. So then I got to ask, what would you say is your favorite part and your least favorite part about playtesting with Chris Kelly?
Um, Favorite part is that he's always reliable to bring his A game. Like anytime you're like, okay, I want to play against this deck. A, he's got it made, and B, he's able to just give you a really good feel for what that matchup is going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's great. That's like the best thing that you could ask for. Um, Least favorite part is also an easy thing to answer, is that he will never ever like 7 minutes before the event, he's gonna ask me what deck should I play in this event, and he's, he's like, I'm thinking of uh, I'm thinking of doing an audible to operatives. What do you think about that? And I'm like, no, what are you doing, dude? Just play Throne Room. I don't know why it takes so long to convince him to play Throne Room every single event.
I don't know.
Well, sometimes Hitco is great and Throne Room's
Yeah,
less good, and then
you know,
They're the
I
same
was
deck.
being a little facetious there, obviously. I don't think he's ever actually said I want to play operatives, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
yeah.
There was
That's-
definitely a world a few years ago where he's like, okay, we need to play Watto. And I'm like, play Watto. You're gonna feel so bad about yourself if you lose with Watto. And so, yeah.
So after working with your team, is there decks that you are feeling comfortable going into the NPC, or like are you ready to submit your deck lists? Because they're due only in a few. I do believe they're due Friday,
Yeah,
Four,
I'm
yeah,
ready.
4 a.m. Friday morning. Yeah,
4 a.m. Friday morning. Oof. No, thank you.
I mean Thursday night. Submit on Thursday night.
Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready, but that was we'll leave it at that.
See, now that's what I like to hear is the confidence though in your voice that you're saying that you're ready. Because I want to say like in talking about worlds, do you feel more ready about this event than worlds, or is it vice versa?
Um, Probably about the same. I'd say probably similar amounts of preparation.
Okay.
So not like where there were years where I was just very focused in
Mm-hmm.
on SWCCG and playing basically every day for months leading up to Worlds. Just, I mean, not even preparing for Worlds just because, it's fun to play the game. And I mean, it still is. I just haven't been giving it full attention. And so, yeah, I'm not expecting, I'm not like on my A game, but I think it might be good enough. We'll see.
That's good. I mean, again, you are in the Brian Fred bracket, so B
Hmm.
Fred again. What he's a really good opponent, uh, really good guy. I mean, on top of that, but excuse me, are you? Do you feel like you're going to be ready to face down B Fred?
And this is maybe the number one feedback that I always give people in terms of preparing for the NPC is I think you should consider it completely irrelevant who the person on the opposite side of the bracket is,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just so far down the line. First of all, you have to get there. And second of all, they have to get there, and they're one of 8 people that could. And upsets can and do happen all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's just not worth, like, Brian Fred could email me. Well, I want to check it. He could Slack DM me his deck list, and I would not change a single thing that I'm doing.
That's fair.
Like, it just, to me, it's not something that I take into account. But yeah, if I see Brian Fred, I've had good matches with him in the past, and look forward to another one.
So let me ask you both: are there any matchups right now on the bracket that you guys are saying we could see an upset here? I'm assuming you both have seen the bracket.
Yeah, but I don't have it in front of me.
Same.
That's fair.
Let me find him.
Well, through the magic of the internet, that's easily solvable. Let's see.
It really is.
But I mean, like I've not looked at the bracket very much aside from my position. So hold on, I'm going to do some scrolling up to find this. Here we go.
I mean, 8-9's easy, right? Like all the 8-9s are close
Well,
enough.
yeah, 8 and
doesn't
9s.
even
Let's forget
count
about them. They're not. That's not an upset. Same, almost with the same as the 7 and the 10s. Like,
see, the thing is here when you say stuff like that, you always risk offending the favorite by saying, "Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure this person is gonna get upset."
well,
So let's see.
I will say.
Did I say that Chris Gogolin is definitely going down? Chris Gogolin is gonna get upset by Wayne Cullen.
Oh, I thought you were saying in game 1. I'm like, well, that would be quite.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying, but I should just try to play some psychological warfare against my opponent here and say that Chris Gogolin is the one.
See, I like this.
Upset.
Yeah.
So getting upset by the bye would be that's really something.
Oh yeah, that's a tragedy.
I don't know. I mean, I really feel like there's a lot more, like. I mean, this is kind of the nature of the way the seeding works, right? Is that like the upsets in game 2, I think are much more up in the air. Because I feel like a lot of the like 6s could beat 3s and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, I could see that. No,
I mean, speaking to the earlier point about the uncertainty of the top 8 match, I'm looking at Brian Fred potentially coming up against Ryan Jellison, who's been a top 4 NPC competitor in the past and has always been a really strong gamer, in my opinion, and always has original and powerful deck ideas. I mean, and the serious answer would be that I would say that is my upset pick if I had to make one.
Okay. Well, I know Joker King in the chat right now is saying that he likes Gornal and Kendall Hallman's chances in the first round. Kendall, again, is a 10 seed. He plays James Martin. So, again, that's interesting because the winner would face you. I myself am really interested about this possible matchup in the second round. Chris Kelly versus Scotland Grell.
Oh yeah, that's happened to me before too, where I've been a 1 seed, and for some reason they always make Scott an 8 seed, and it's terrifying. Like, why would you do that? And I hate it. It's because that's, again, like I was saying, as a 1 seed, you should be able to like say, okay, I can think about my 4-5 matchup, but then all of a sudden it's like, well, I've got Scott in the second round, and it's just that's never, yeah.
It's kind of funny.
You don't want to have to deal with that.
And on the point, I know Jared Napolitano in the Gen PC was a number 1 seed, having to face Scott in the second round, and Scott just cleared the floor. So it has happened with Scott. Scott is one of those players you really can't prepare for.
Yeah, I'm trying to. When I faced him, he had some kind of weird profit where he did like came till Screech undercover, and there was some weapon that he could shoot in the control phases, and it was just all cards that I'd never seen before, and I had to read all those cards, and I just didn't know how to play against that. I can't remember what I was playing, but it was just it was weird.
I mean, it wasn't NPC.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say it wasn't NPC, but I played against Scott once, and he was playing CCT and played whatever the screaming interrupt's called. I don't know. It's A and I. Yeah. And I was like, well, that sucks, but I feel like I shouldn't grab that because it's a lost interrupt. And then like 3 of them later, I'm like, fine, I'll grab this now. How many of these cards are you playing?
Yeah.
That's the one experience I've had. Also, I think getting beat down for like 40 by musicians in Jawa in the Jawa Cup, like.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's still a thing?
Okay. Yeah. This is Scott we're talking about. If it's out there, it's a thing.
Yeah.
I will say
maybe
this.
It doesn't have to. It not necessarily just because Scott's playing it doesn't mean it's a thing, right? It could just be a Scott thing.
Now I will say this in the chat. If you guys are paying attention, if you're not, Justin Desai has said you're the favorite to win, Tom, based on your T-shirt alone. You're clearly showing The effects of the grind.
All right. This was I found this in the Boston College football stadium about 15 years ago. It was meant for an actual football player because it's just massive. It's the biggest shirt I own. And it's it's seen some wear and tear in the years since then. It was once mint condition. Like it was supposed to go to a football player. But yeah. Anyway, that's
fair.
Shirt.
Yeah, I was looking at the chat and Matt Lutz is saying Chris Kelly is the hardest half of the bracket to deal with. I mean, that's what I was gonna say. Is like, I mean, assuming that Timo and Matt both make it through round one, like whichever one of them wins could certainly upset Chris. Like that's not crazy to say on either of them. Like, so yeah.
I will say I'm excited for the possible rematch of Timo versus Matt. Again, they played in the GMPC, and the GMPC went on forever. I'm going to say that. Like, it seemed like it went on forever, but they played in the Final Four, and Timo advanced to face Joker King in the finals. But again, that was what feels like an era ago, but at the same time, it just felt like it went on forever. So,
I mean, it was an entire meta ago. Like, that was...
Yeah, yeah.
See, this is interesting to me that you guys are talking about this like it's ancient history, because I feel like this has happened since I've been super active in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So
it just, you know what, COVID just makes at least me feel like everything was just so far long ago.
Yeah, no, it's true. I'm getting my vaccine finally tomorrow.
Nice.
The first shot. So.
Nice.
Light at the end of the tunnel for most of us, hopefully.
Hopefully we can all get together and play in nationals. But
exactly, yeah.
I hope so. I got my second shot this past weekend, so I'll be there. I don't know if I'm going to be in a hotel conference room by myself. We'll see if we can make this happen. We're working on it. So
yeah, and I'm really excited again. So speaking of the MPC again, the MPC is starting this Saturday. Saturday we're going to have rounds 1 and 2, so the rounds of 64 and 32, followed by Sunday with the rounds of 16 and 8. So again, start time is at 7 a.m. Eastern and 10 a.m. Eastern for round 1. Round 2 then will start around 1 and 4 p.m. Eastern. On top of that, we still have the retro event currently going. I don't know. I'm still enjoying the retro event. I have a few more games myself. Tom, have you started your games? Are you playing in the retro event?
Me, no, I haven't. But I do like retro formats.
Yeah, this one's it's a fun event. I'll tell you what. It's premiered to Death Star 2. Currently, Justin Desai is sitting at the top. He is 10-0. Hayes Hunter is 9-1, followed by Joe Olsen, also 9-1, and Bastion 9-1. Casey is at the top 5, 8-2, and then we have a few more 8-2 sitting here, rounding out the top 10. Steve Buss and Zutton also have a chance to make it. Zutton is sitting at 8-1. Steve Buss is 8-0. Outside of that, Tarkin 84 is sitting at 6-0. And
man, if Steve doesn't win at least one of those last 2 games, though, that is not a strength of schedule that's going to get you there.
Yeah, I agree. Outside of that, we still have, Target 84 is at 6-0, and some guy right here by the name of DTartagOne is 5-2. How'd that happen?
I'm 1-1, so you know.
Yeah, you're all the way over here on the other side.
I'm pretty sure. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get all 10 games in, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see how I do this weekend.
But outside of that, I think outside of everybody who hasn't really started, I want to say those are the top players right now. So again, congrats to Justin for going 10-0. That's really impressive. And again, we're talking about
people play Robson Throne Room. Is my experience with the Duster 2 meta, or is that progressed past then at this point?
I know Rops was a really good one. I'm trying to think what else. Throne Room is there. Mind What You've Learned's been seen a lot of play.
Oh, right. Yep. Yep.
Some Hidden Base, some EBO. I want to say I'm currently 4-0 with my Bring 'Em Before Me deck.
Bring them before me. Yep. I was gonna
Yeah,
think that one
I'm
would
having
be
a
the
lot
dark
of fun
deck.
with that Bring 'Em Before Me deck. Like,
It's a good
Justin
format.
posted a crazy game with set your course for Alderaan Scum.
yeah,
That was wild to watch.
Scum with Brangus, I assume.
uh,
He'd have to say I don't remember there being a Brangus Glee that got played in that game because Luke was at the docking bay the whole time. But
yeah,
there was definitely a first strike and a draw their fire, so he got to retrieve 4 when he attacked Luke at the docking bay on the Death Star, which was sweet.
yeah.
And then lose nothing to battle damage because that's
Yeah, just keep on sending
Yeah.
someone and don't even draw Destiny. Yeah. Sounds like a good deal.
Okay, and again, we got the NPC. Again, it is this weekend with the top 4 concluding next weekend. And again, we're talking about the Jawa Brawl coming in June, Nationals in July, and again, Worlds will hopefully be in DC on October 7th through the 10th. So,
total speculation, but that seems considerably more likely.
yeah,
Than that.
I'm hoping.
Not saying that Nationals is unlikely, but I feel like Worlds is like 85% to happen in person in DC. But that's
I'm
just
hoping.
my complete shot in the dark guess. So
I'm hoping it would be good to go back to some in-person events and everything, seeing everybody.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so I think it's time we go back into some swing and a miss questions. We got 4 exciting ones, all NPC are related. Again, I'm going to ask a question. If you agree, it's going to be it's a hit. If you do not agree, it's swing and a miss. Okay, and we'll just talk about them for a little bit. So our first question of the night: Diplo and Map will be the most played decks during the NPC. You want to start us off, Justin, as the veteran?
So by the criteria here, I'd say a miss. I'd say Map is a hit. I think Map is pretty likely to be the most played deck. Diplo. I only say miss on Diplo because there's, like we said, there's a lot of light side decks that are like in the realm of power of where Diplo is. So it's gonna. I think that comes down a lot to like if you just like OA better than Diplo. I don't think you're wrong to play OA over Diplo.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing if you just like Watch Your Step better than Diplo or something like that. Like it's not like a couple of past metas we've had where it's like, well, the scrub deck that you should play is like definitely no idea, and it's like much above all of the other ones. So you should definitely be playing that one if you want to play scrubs. I don't think that's the case here, so I don't think that any light set deck has like a grip where I would say for sure this is going to be the most played one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been playing a fair bit of Diplo recently, and I like it a lot, but I don't think I can say for sure that it's going to be the best one. So,
Okay.
or I guess the most played one. Best is totally not the question, but
So I would say hit here actually, because I do think it seems pretty likely that Map, as far as I can tell, should be the most played dark side deck. Just seems like it has tools to do everything and probably could even support multiple versions. And Diplo just seems at least like maybe a default option, but I've seen good builds of many other light decks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say just the hit here in that it might be the most represented light deck, but I don't think by a large margin. Whereas Map, it seems pretty likely it will be, you'd look at a field and say, okay, there's a good percentage of the field is Map, not like 20%, but like maybe 10 to 15%. Whereas Diplo might just be the most of like 7 or 8 light decks that all have a pretty decent showing. So.
Yeah, and I think Diplo is one of those solid decks that, if you like, looking at the field, it feels like it's one of those solid decks that a lot of the players will know how to play. Uh, and I want to say it has a relatively decent match against Map. That's the other thing. So if you can get out your Menace Fades to get around that early damage from Map that Map can actually put pressure on, it's not a bad thing. And Diplo has a lot of tricks. Now I know Watch Your Step has a lot of tricks and stuff like that, but Diplo just seems like it has almost never ending interrupts. So I will say I like that Diplo has that. What's the word I'm looking for? It has that ability to just trick its way out of a lot of damage. Like you got to be mindful of the It's a Trap. You got to be mindful of the dodge. You got to be mindful of the extra Hojiks. So there's a lot of things you can grab. Plus, Celebration's really good. I mean, it's not hard for them just to set up Celebration and get 1 to 2 retrieval. And there's so many different variants.
I'll say it is an edge that Diplo has over a deck like Watch Your Step. Like one of the things that people have been talking, I know I saw people talk about a bit, was that like the one trouble with Watch Your Step is that you don't have a good agent that you can really like. The current builds of Watch Your, or at least the builds that we're running on of Watch Your Step, like right around the time that the errata dropped, and the new set dropped, weren't playing solo and weren't playing Chewy with Bowcaster, so they had no resistance characters at all. So the only agent you can play is Luke, and when you play like even if you're playing Luke Rebel Scout or Last Jedi Luke without immunity, it's not that easy for Watch Your Step to keep him on the table against Map necessarily. So. Whereas Diplo can just make General Leia your agent and then just protect her with a million things. So I think that is like a slight bonus that Diplo has over Watch Your Step in particular. But I don't know. I still think so. I don't know that that's enough to make me say to make me confident that Diplo is going to be the most played deck. But
okay.
And at least traditionally, Map has its biggest weakness was its inability to answer multiple threats. Like, it could attack a few places, but then it kind of runs out of things to attack with. And I mean, sometimes it just makes up for that by not having to care and just winning anyway because it, is doing enough damage, or its single threats are good enough. And it just answers at the places it needs to. But I mean, if Diplo can win the game by going wide and punishing Map's inability to answer to it, then yeah, I could see it being one of the decks with the more favorable matchup against Map as compared to other light decks.
And I will say, like, Map's weakest sector has always been space. If you can get rid of the finalizer, it's such an easier matchup for the light side. And
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to say I'm not actually sure that that's true anymore. Because if you're playing the Dead Speak, you lose a lot of the ground characters that supported Map. So like you lose General Grievous and P-59 and Aura and EPP Aura.
True.
So it blunts your ground attack a lot. Like you still have the ability to hold a ground site and you can still trooper beat down somebody and stuff. But like the subtraction of all of that with the Dead Speak plus the addition of Steadfast, I don't know. It could swing the other way. I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting to see what.
I agree. So. Okay, moving on. Half of the number 1 seeds will not make the top 8. Tom, let's start with you on this one.
Wait, you said you, but you didn't say who.
Tom. We'll start with you.
Okay, me.
So the number 1 seeds are Joe Olson, Chris Kelly, Matt Harrison Trainer, and Brian Fred.
and half of them won't make it, so two of
Yep.
them are not going to make it.
Yep.
It's top 8. No, I say that's a miss. That's I would say it's more likely that 4 make it than only 2 make it.
Okay.
If 3 people make it and someone gets upset, I wouldn't be that surprised, but I'd be pretty surprised if 2. Actually, the NPC, one thing, I mean, and like I was saying earlier, that you can't guarantee that you face someone in the top 8, and I believe that, but in general, there aren't a ton of upsets in the NPC. They do a really good job, Bill and Greg, seeding the NPC every year, and usually, I mean, there's some exceptions like Dan Kim coming out of nowhere,
Yeah.
but usually 1 seeds. Like I think there have been multiple years where like the top 4 was 1 seeds. The 1 seeds just all made it through, and yeah, I'd expect that to be the case again. And just like talking about that crop of 1 seeds, you can't like point to anyone and say, okay, this is a weak player, this person's going to get upset. Like, no, I'm selling here, or I'm missing here.
Yeah, so as I'm thinking about it, right, so the top 8 would, in theory, if there's no upsets, right, be all the 1s versus 2s, right? Is how the bracket works?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so the way that this would happen, right, would have to be, so all right, which of the 1 seeds?
So
because we talked about Chris Kelly getting upset. I don't think would, like, not to dunk on Chris Kelly, but I like his matchup against the either the 4 or the 5. Like either the 4 or the 5 are very, very good.
Yeah.
In that bracket, so like that would, I mean, it would be a surprise. It would be an upset, but it wouldn't be crazy. But I don't know that any of the other 1 seeds, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm looking at. So the Matt Harrison trainer has to play through Ed Sheehan or Sean Dixon. I think he can pass those. Then he could either have Drew Lichtenstein or Nick Reish. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. I think Matt's a really good player. Drew can have a good day here and there. So I'm not saying that I do like Matt's chances to get to the top 8. So I'm going to go with Matt. I went with Matt. What interests me is the Brian Fred, his bracket again. He has to go through Brandon Beatty or Justin Carulli. And then, again, we pointed out Brad Kipple or Ryan Jelson. And both of those are really good players. So I think B. Fred has both B. Fred and Chris Kelly have a really tough match on their path. So.
So I'm looking at my bracket. I did put all the number 1s in the top 8, so I will also say miss then.
I'm going to say it's a hit.
Based on my prior assessment.
I'm going to say only 2 make it. I'm going to go with Joe. I got Joe and Matt Harrison trainer. So.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Moving.
Well, I mean, I would say if you were going to say that guaranteed 2 of them wouldn't make it, the 2 that would make it would it be? I would say probably Joe and Matt, but Matt and Beeford are really close.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know how much preparation Matt has done recently.
No, I've Matt
always
has been
thought that he's just an excellent player.
Yeah,
like,
I know Matt has played a few games later at night against Joe Olson. So, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Later at night being relative.
If he's prepared, I would say that Matt might be one of the favorites to win the event.
Okay. So at least 2 of the 5 seeds or higher will make the top 4.
Now, hang on. By higher, do you mean larger number or higher as in better seed?
Wait,
higher number.
Obviously, he means larger number.
Yeah.
It would be a really silly question.
Come on, Justin.
Sure. All right. I mean, as a 7 seed, I'm gonna say hit because I would really love that. That would be great for me personally. I mean, so it is fair that last year's NPC, the top four was Hayes as a 1, and then 3 6s.
Yeah.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Who were the 6s?
JJD and crap.
We don't have to guess.
No, I don't. Matt Wadden was there, and I forget the last one.
Yeah. Well, I'll say and Hayes played a 6 in the previous in Subway, so yeah, I think I don't think it's impossible. I'll say hit for me.
Kyle was the last one. He was the last 6. So
Kyle Kruger?
Yeah.
It was a 6 seed?
It was a 6 seed last year.
That's yeah, I mean, Kyle's probably one of those players that's Kyle's like in the Jan Westergaard of difficult player to seed.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I mean, there was a lot of talk that
just randomly, make the final table, or could go like 3 and 5 in any given worlds.
I know there was a lot of talk last year that the NPC field was very top heavy. Yeah. I think they were saying that they were like I remember there was commentary that if Chris Kelly had not won the previous NPC and so by tradition was locked into a 1 seed, that he could have been at 3.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, when you have Joe Olsen, Hayes Hunter, Justin Desai, Steve Baroni, Reed Smith, Brian Fred, just a litany of Eric Tom Hade. Thank you, Justin. But yeah, I'm going to go miss on this one. I've got 2 1 seeds, a 2 seed, and I want to say a 4 seed in my top 4.
Out of 7? Come on, man.
No.
I'm right here.
I would say missed too. Just it has happened. I'm trying to think.
It has happened, yeah.
Like
Gogolin was a high seed.
I think there was one, but Gogolin wouldn't qualify for this.
Yeah.
And Gogolin is someone who is definitely, like, if Gogolin beats me, I would not be surprised to see him in the top 4. But that's a 3 seed there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Tom, you're killing me here because I got you as the top in the top 4. So I don't want to hear you talking about Gogolin beating you.
No, well, you brought him up, but
that's good. That's good.
No,
yeah.
I think I've got a decent chance to make the top 4.
Yeah.
But I would say there are some people that I could see making the top 4 and wouldn't be shocked. But I would say that overall this is a miss.
Yeah.
I'd say probably 3 of the top 4 will be 1 or 2 seeds.
Yeah, and
what I would think.
The ones that
and
really
that's usually been true.
The ones that really are sticking out at me are Ryan Jelson, who's a 5 seed, and Matt Lutz, who's also a 5 seed. I think those are the ones who are the 5 seeds and higher that really stick out at me and are just like, they have a good chance. And I know Ryan's on your bracket, Tom, but
no, if
it happens, it happens.
I think Ryan beat me 1 year to get into the top 4. I think. Yeah. I'm not sure. Maybe I played Ryan in the top 4 1 year. I don't know. But that wouldn't surprise me that much.
I mean, the one wrinkle to this that's like kind of the wrinkle in general to having all of the online majors, and we saw from Fernando at Worlds, and then there have been a number of breakout performances recently, which is why I'm pulling for me. But the GIMP just gives you a lot of ability to kind of come out of nowhere in a lot of regards here. I mean, Matt Lutz is actually a really great example because Matt, my understanding is that Matt started playing right around the same time I did, maybe a little bit before.
Yeah.
And neither of us have been playing for longer than.
Well, it helps when he has 9 million people on his team to feed him all this information.
Yeah, I mean, Timo too. Timo's a 4 seed and only started playing in 2019. It's like, I mean, some of that though is like, well, they've had recent results which gets them higher seeds, but I think like there's definitely a possibility of having somebody in the field who is like not me. So not
That's
to
fair.
like toot my own horn, but like having a breakout performance in something like this, I think is much more possible. Now, on the other hand, though, this field is also like I think more like a typical NPC field. Like I don't think it's like last year, right, where it's like, well, less than 5 seeds. Like, yeah, but like a 6 seed last year might be a 3 this year or something like that, right? So I don't think it's anything like that. So I don't know. I'm gonna stick with my hit, with my call if it's a hit, but that's mostly because I want it to be me. So
That's fair. Okay, last question of the night. Someone who has not won the NPC will win it.
so that would mean not
Not
Joe,
Tom
not Tom,
and not Chris.
Is that it?
and
not Chris, yeah.
Kelly. Yeah.
Yeah. Joe's really hot right now, but I'm going to say this. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Joe's probably one of the best players in the world right now, but I wouldn't say I like the field here. I kind of do. No offense, Tom. Like I think
you
and
always have to pick the like in terms of logical. The field is always the correct pick.
Oh, I think MHT has won it as well, according to Justin Desai.
Oh, has he? Because I was about to say MHT.
I don't think he won it. I think he was Rookie of the Year or something like that.
Desai is saying that he's calling MHT to win it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that would be. I'm looking at MHT. I'm looking at Greg Shaw. Looking at Brian Fred. You know.
Okay.
There's definitely a lot of contenders that I could see taking this home that have not won it before.
Yeah.
I would like it, of course, to be a miss. I'd like to win again. But I think I've got a reasonable chance of making the top 4, but not. I don't know. The thing is, once you get into the top 4, is not. There's some element of just guessing game luck that will determine who it is, and it kind of. The first time I won the NPC was I faced Matt Sokol in the round of 4.
Oof.
And I had a really strong feeling that he was going to go for Profit. So I chose a deck that beats Profit. Like at that point, sometimes you just go all in on the counterpick strategy. And yeah, he had Profit. I had all CRV Walkers. That deck always beats Profit no matter what the light side player does. And I won. And then Kevin Shannon played a deck that was also, I can't even remember what he played, but it was also really bad against my dark deck. It just won. And like it just kind of defaulted to me. So at that point, when it's just like you just need to win 2 matches, and if you make the correct deck choice, like it's anyone's game for top 4 if you metagame correctly.
Okay.
So, at least some element of that. It depends on the meta. Like that's not always possible in every meta.
Okay. So I think that's all we got for Swing and a Miss right now. One last thing before we go into our lore challenge. If you're looking for information on the streamers, all your streamers are on the screen right now. Again, I will be manning the main account for the PC page. Justin will be helping out as a commentator. So Lenny will be on with me early on Saturday morning. And then we'll have the rest of the people as they either knock out or are not playing their games. We will have the multi-channel switch thing up and running, so I'll have that information on the main PC page as well. So we'll have a lot of coverage as the event continues. Okay, are you ready, Tom? We got a lore challenge for you.
Okay, Tom and Justin, or just me?
Just you.
I mean, I don't know what the card is, so sure, yeah.
You know what? I'll have Justin will help you out on this one.
Okay.
I don't know how much help I'm going to be, but you know.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the lore.
Or we could compete.
No. If one of you gets it, you both get the prize. That's how it's gonna go.
Okay.
So
All right.
what I'm gonna do is I'll post up the lore, and then
Mhm.
I will ask you guys if you want the set or the type, and then you guys
Oh,
guess.
I don't need to close the stream. I don't need to close the stream.
No.
Right?
No, we
You
need
don't
to
have
beat
no.
the chat.
Yeah.
No, we have to
I'm
get it
gonna-
before the chat does. That's how it should go, right?
Okay, so your lore challenge is what? Chuba de Noya.
All right. Can I get the language of origin, please?
Use it in a sentence.
So it's Gungan, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you guys want the set or do you want the type?
No, I think type is more helpful here because this card has to be from Tatooine.
Well, it could be from Coruscant or Theed Palace. Probably not Coruscant, but it could be from Theed Palace. But yeah, I agree. Type would probably be the way to go here.
Okay, the type is interrupt.
Interrupt. Okay, see, this is when I was thinking of Theed, this was I thinking of. I wonder if it's no giving up General Jar Jar.
No, because
What other Gungan themed interrupts are there? I think you were right to go type. All right, so it's not Wisa.
right.
No.
I actually don't think this is Gungan. I think this is this sounds like the Sebulba Watto language.
All right, wait. Say it again. Say the lore again. Can we hear it?
What? Chuba de Noya.
You might be right about that.
Not that that helps because
I don't know
know
if there is a
great command of
Sebulba interrupt though.
it.
The only thing I can think is the effect, which I can't remember the name of.
The effect is Nichubana, but I don't
Nichubana,
remember
yeah.
the lore of. I spent too much time reading the game text of that card. I don't remember what the lore says. God. I don't even know the names of all the interrupts in Tatooine.
It's definitely not a Jawa.
Now, I will say this. I'll give you one more
He said it was
hint.
an
Not
interrupt. He said it
enough
was an interrupt,
vowels.
so
I'll give you one hint. If you play episode
Yeah.
1, it's a Destiny 6 card.
Destiny 6 card.
It's a Destiny 6 card.
a Destiny 6 interrupt. Okay. God, yeah. I don't know. I can't even think of a Destiny 6 interrupt from Tatooine. I'm only guessing it's from Tatooine, obviously, but
I can't think of. Yeah, the episode 1 ones I know are like the Senate ones that you take a senator back in hand, but obviously it's not that.
yeah, I've got nothing here. So
I'm going. I don't remember the destiny of no giving up General Jar Jar, but that's my answer. I'm sure it's wrong, but
Yeah. It's losing track.
losing track. I did think there was a pod racer one,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't have. I didn't
Yep.
remember that that's what it was.
Yep. During
Oh, this is
battle.
the Boba card.
So wait, is that like a Tuscan dialect then?
No,
it
it's
is a Boba
Sebulba.
card.
Sebulba says it. Yeah.
Good instincts on Sebulba then. Okay.
Yeah. During battle, place the top card of opponent's lost pile onto their reserve deck. For is the use. Lost is use one force to repair your pod racer or target pod racer. Draw destiny. If destiny greater than the pod racer's destiny number, target is damaged.
I literally don't know what repair or damage means.
Okay, no, I'm pretty sure. So if a pod racer is damaged, in order to stack a card on the pod racer, you have to lose a force first. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
that's how it
Yeah.
goes. You can still win. You can still win the race with the damaged pod racer, I think.
Lenny's right. I
Seems
was betting
fair.
heavily on Sebulba because Sebulba is like 501 based on what we know about his record because he always won except for the one time when he came in second.
Yeah.
He's always in one.
Awesome.
I guess maybe he probably didn't finish that race. Although I don't know, he could have walked. That's probably okay, right? Most of the other competitors were dead. What was he going to lose to? That was
Well,
a very lethal pod race.
it was. Okay, everybody.
Yeah, we
Well,
wonder if that was how pod races typically go, or that was especially brutal.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm more akin to the swoop bike races from Knights of the Old Republic. But that's just my personal. Okay, everybody. Well, again, I want to thank my co-host for this evening, Justin Miyashiro, Tom Kelly as our guest. First time showing for Tom. I want to wish everybody who's playing in the NPC a good luck for the weekend. Again, coverage will start at 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific. Oof. And I will see everybody then. So until this weekend, good night and take care, everybody.
Bye.